Tonight, local programs are bracing for the worst, and we're learning more about how a shutdown would impact southern New England.
Eyewitness News reporter Todd Wallace joins us live now with local coverage from the Providence Mobile Newsroom.
And Mike and Susan, a lot of people who work in federal government agencies are on edge regarding this possible government shutdown. Thousands of Rhode Islanders will be affected. The economy would take a hit too, all because leaders in Washington can seemingly do just one thing: compromise.
If the government shuts down, Head Start classrooms like this one in Johnston could be empty.
I think that all of our operations would be affected. We'd have to eventually close down the operation.
Joe DeSantis is the CEO of the Tri-Town Community Action Agency. He says a loss of funds could be devastating for children.
It's so important because kids got to have a head start educationally. If they're disadvantaged and they don't have that jump in the education system, they're going to be hurt throughout their lives.
Democratic Senator Sheldon Whitehouse says a number of other agencies or services would also be affected.
Clearly that affects the economy.
It affects the economy. And then you look at things like small businesses trying to get an SBA loan, or people trying to close on a mortgage and get mortgage insurance. All of these programs begin to shut down.
Many Republicans have rallied around a budget plan to keep the government open but delay the new health care law for 1 year. But if there is a shutdown, the senator and his colleagues, some who are millionaires, will continue getting paid. So I asked Senator Whitehouse whether he thought that was fundamentally wrong.
Nothing about this is right. And the sooner we can get beyond it, the better. We should not be playing these hostage games with things like the continued operations of the United States government.
And back to Head Start, they actually have funding for the next 6 weeks because they got their money from the last fiscal year, so they would only be affected if there's a prolonged government shutdown, in other words, beyond that 6-week period. Reporting live with the Providence Mobile Newsroom, Todd Wallace, Eyewitness News.
Todd, before you go, why are congressmen and women continuing to get paid while others may not?
Susan, those who get paid fall under 4 categories. They fall under these categories. One would be people who work with national security, then non-appropriations like Social Security, then those who are responsible for protecting life and property, and then there's number 4, and that is those who support constitutional functions, and those people would fall under members of Congress and also essential members of the president's cabinet. It doesn't seem fair, but it is the Constitution. Back to you.
All right, Todd, thank you very much. And we're going to check back in with more local coverage with Todd on this developing story coming up on Eyewitness News at 6.
Stay with Eyewitness News for updates all evening long as the countdown to a possible government shutdown continues to tick away.
We'll have live reports throughout this evening here on WPRI 12, and you can find in-depth coverage around the clock on WPRI.com.